Ahoj, přeju vám krásný dobrý den. Vítejte na mém kanále Czech by Zuzka. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. And welcome in the series on prepositions. Today we have yet another preposition to examine, and that is the preposition u. U is a Czech preposition and it's also very common. And the good news is that u is always vždycky followed by the genitive case. As always, I'm going to give you a series of sentences, useful phrases that you can use with this preposition. But before I get to the topic, I would like to tell you briefly about a special offer that I am preparing today. So far, I have created 4 video courses, and I am putting the second one on discount starting today. It's called Explore the Art of Czech Conversing. This course contains 11 dialogues. I will also walk you through the dialogues and show you all the important phrases, vocabulary, and grammar. Please have a look at this short sample where I show you a glimpse of what the recordings are like. You will hear 10 different voices of great Czech native speakers.
Hinku, udělej nám kafe a my si tady zatím s Janou popovídáme.
Hele, fotka pěkná, ale kino už pomalu nestíháme. Tak šup.
Dobrý den. Už jste u nás registrovaná?
To máš pravdu, ale nezapomeň si dát tu kávu.
Ale to je prošlá jízdenka, máte jinou? Už zase? Já už jednu platil, minulý měsíc.
Ukažte. Tady u volantu je taková páčka.
Aha.
A pak už to víko zvednete.
Ještě kdybych si tak pamatovala PIN.
Dobrý den, potřeboval bych poslat tenhle balík doporučeně.
Tak vás poprosím o 129 korun. Hotově nebo kartou?
Back to the preposition u. U often means nearby, but it could also mean directly at a specific place. U stolu means at the table. Sedím u stolu, I'm sitting at the table. Careful, this has to be related with a non-action verbs. Sedím u stolu, there is no movement, I'm sitting at the table. Jsem u stolu, I'm at the table. But if I want to say I want to go sit at the table, I will say chci si sednout ke stolu, because ke is the direction. So remember that u is more like a static preposition. U. We are describing what is somewhere or nearby. Another example would be u počítače, at the computer. Celé hodiny sedí u počítače. He or she is sitting at the computer for hours and hours. The same way you could say čte u počítače, he's reading at the computer. Jí u počítače, he's eating at the computer. But again, you cannot say he's going to the computer, jde k počítači. U moře, u řeky, u rybníka, u jezera. All these 4 are places with water. Of course, we could mean by being very near the sea. Jsem u moře, I am near the sea. This is my location. We often mean that we are spending our vacation there or our day there. Jsme u moře, we are at the seaside. Dovolená u moře. Vacation at the seaside. So this means that you're at the beach, you're swimming in the sea, you go to your hotel, which is not so far from the sea. The same way would be u řeky, by the river. Maybe you're fishing there or swimming there. U rybníka, the same way, because in the Czech Republic we don't have sea, so we go to the pond to swim. This would be the same thing. You can spend your day at the pond. U rybníka. Odpoledne budu u rybníka. In the afternoon I'll be at the pond. U jezera, at the lake, the same thing. The next use of the preposition u is when you are at someone's place. Jsem u babičky. I'm at grandma's. U babičky. So this means I'm visiting the person and I'm also hanging out at their house or where they are. U kamaráda, the same thing. At a friend's house, at a friend's place. And again, this would be connected with the verb that doesn't include movement. So jsem, I am at. Jsem u kamaráda, čekám u kamaráda, I'm waiting at a friend's place. Bydlím u kamaráda, I'm living at a friend's place. Vařím u kamaráda, I'm cooking at a friend's place. U mě, at my place. U tebe, at your place. I could ask, můžu si tu tašku nechat u tebe? can I leave this bag at your place? Jo, můžeš si ji nechat u mě. Yeah, you can leave her at my place. You see, we talk about a person and a place. It helps to remember this little graph or this little picture. Imagine a house and there is a person in it. And you say, jsem u babičky. Jsem u babičky. Okay? It doesn't mean that you're only with your grandmother, but you're also referring to the house, to where she lives. That's why we say at grandma's place. More examples would be even with doctors, specialists, or other services. When we talk about people as well. U doktora. Jsem u doktora. I'm at the doctor. Jsem u kadeřnice. I'm at the hairdressers. You could say the same way. Jsem u zubaře, at the dentist. And more services where you go and spend some time there. I would also like to mention 2 more prepositions that would be related with these specific examples, and we already talked about them, so it will be a revision for you. When you say you are visiting these people, these places, you say jsem u, and genitive case. First step, if you want to say I'm going there, I'm going to these people and to these places, you would use the preposition k, which means towards many times, but also means to visit somebody. Jdu k babičce. Remember what case? It's dative. Jdu k babičce. Jsem u babičky, genitive. And then when you leave their place, you say jdu od babičky. Leaving, jdu od. And that is also genitive case. So please remember these 3 examples because they apply for all these kinds of words. This type where we have a person and a place at the same time. Jdu k babičce. Jsem u babičky. Jdu od babičky. I'm leaving my grandma's place. Let's try it with you, your place. Jdu k tobě. I'm going to your place. Jsem u tebe. I'm at your place. Jdu od tebe. I'm leaving your place. And the doctor too. Jdu k doktorovi. Jsem u doktora. Jdu od doktora. You can do a simple exercise with these words and always say these 3 sentences. Very easy. Another common phrase would also be zastav se pak u mě. Stop at my place after. Dobře, pak se zastavím u tebe. Okay, I'll stop at your place after. We use it even when we ask about certain location where somebody lives. I could ask, how is the weather over there at your place? Jaké je u vás počasí? Jaké je u tebe počasí, if I want to be informal. Now, I would like to give you more examples with this topic. This is very useful because when you are at a Czech town and you go to a restaurant, it can very often have this u in the name of it. For example, in Prague, there is a very famous traditional Czech restaurant which is called Restaurace u Pinkasu. U Pinkasu. And this means that it was a family of Pinkas, the Pinkas family, Pinkasovi, and u Pinkasu. Also another famous Czech restaurant, u Medvídků, at Little Bears, Medvídci u Medvídků. And I'm sure there is even a restaurant at 3 Roses, for example, u 3 růží. So this would often have a name in it, like u svaté Kateřiny, at Saint Kateřina. It could have a family name, or it could have just the name of something, u 3 růží. At the 3 Roses, by the 3 Roses. And you can apply equally the same rule. Let's say you like the restaurant u Medvídků and you say jdu k Medvídkům, jsem u Medvídků, jdu od Medvídků. If you know any other place that has the preposition u in it, write it in the comments. Let's have a look at a couple of more examples that would include a person, not the place too this time. Nemám to teď u sebe. I don't have it on me. U sebe. Meaning I don't have it here with me. A cool question to ask instead of jak se máš is co je u tebe nového? What's new with you? Co je u tebe? Again, this is genitive. And we could say literally what is new at you in your life? What are the news? Even when we speak about certain professions like force. Somebody works there or is a part of it. We could say, on pracuje u policie. He works at the police. But we mean the people. We don't mean the building. Although we could mean the building. Pracuje u hasičů, the same thing. He's with firefighters. Or colloquially dělá u policie is the same thing as pracuje, but it's colloquial. He does his job. And the last phrase is very cool and very useful. Máš to u mě. This means I owe you one. But in Czech we say it exactly the opposite way. In English it's I owe you one. But here we talk about us. You have a favor saved with me. Máš to u mě. More examples where O involves a person. And also it depends on the verb, so there are actually two things that we need to take into consideration. The verb and also the noun that follows a preposition. Pozoruju to u svých studentů. I observe this or I see this in my students. Pozorovat, to observe. Jsem zapsaný, jsem registrovaný u pana doktora Nováka. I'm registered with Dr. Novák. It doesn't have to be a doctor, it could be a professor, for example. But this means you belong to this person's group. Příznaky se vyskytují u starších pacientů. Long sentence. The symptoms appear in elderly patients. So vyskytovat se, to appear. And then we could follow up with this sentence. U mladších to tak není. It's not the case with the younger ones, the younger patients, for example. U mladších to tak není. So we will be talking about cases. U starších pacientů, in elderly patients, in the cases of elderly patients. U mladších, or when we talk about species like whales, uverlip, in the case of whales. Now we are changing the theme slightly. We're not talking about people anymore, but we're still talking about something which is directly somewhere. Kapsa u kalhot, this is a collocation, the pocket of my trousers. Zip u mikiny, zipper of the sweatshirt. Knoflíky u košile, buttons of the shirt. And a couple of phrases that are also really useful. Byl jsem přímo u toho. I was right there. I was right at that. In that place when it was happening. A když už jsme u toho, and speaking of, and literally, and when we are at it, and usually another sentence follows. Of course, this is when we speak about we, me. You could also say a když už jsem u toho. Of course, you should change the subject. And this last sentence is related to the previous slide when we talk about how it is in different cases. Já to tak mám u čtení. This is, of course, taken out of the context. But let's say somebody's talking about falling asleep, how easily they fall asleep. And you say, já to tak mám u čtení. This is my case with reading. When I read, I fall asleep. Já to tak mám u čtení. Vždycky usnu. So I have it like that while reading. But čtení, reading, could be replaced by any activity or any topic. Já to tak mám u češtiny. This is my case with the Czech language. We are changing the topic now. We are talking about proximity. The preposition u can also mean that something is near or someone is near by. Before we said that we are directly at that place or that person's place, but it could also mean that I am near. Čekám u školy. I'm waiting by the school. I'm near the school. Stojím u parku. I'm standing by the park. And many other places where you can be nearby. But remember, then we have some collocations where it means that you are spending your time there, like the sea we said, or the pond, u rybníka. And this is a true statement. Jsme u konce. We are getting close to the end. Word by word, it means we are by the end. Už jsme u konce. We're getting close to the end. A my jsme opravdu u konce. And we are really near the end. The last category is time. When we mean something is during. We can sometimes use u as well, although it's not the most common option. U zkoušky, during the exam, at the exam. You can say, byl jsem u zkoušky. I was doing my exam. U zkoušky byl pan profesor ten a ten. Professor blah blah was present at the exam. He was there during the exam. Or you could say, u zkoušky mi bylo špatně. I felt sick during the exam. You could also replace it by během, which really means during, which also requires a genitive. Během zkoušky mi bylo špatně. And when we talk about meals or certain social events that include drinks or food. U snídaně, at breakfast, during breakfast. U oběda, during lunch. U piva, probereme to u piva. We're gonna discuss this with a beer, like as we are drinking our beers. Probereme to u piva. Ale, but remember, these three examples could also be commonly expressed with another preposition. Při snídani, that would be locative, by the way. Same way, při obědě, při pivě se neříká, we don't say that. We could also have na snídani, na obědě, na večeři. That also takes locative. And as I mentioned, během. Během snídaně, which would be genitive as well. So forget about the beer, that's a special occasion, u piva. But when we talk about meals, we can use u snídaně, během snídaně, při snídani, na snídani. Which is the most common? I would say this one. Tak, a teď je po všem. Now it's over. Remember the preposition from last week? Po. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next week with another preposition. Ahoj, mějte se krásně.